FrostPunk is a nifty little game that takes place in a post-apocalyptic winter, and unlike the last post-apocalyptic winter game that I played, this one has nothing to do with skiing, snowboarding, or any fun winter sports. This game more so is Snowpiercer, except there's no big train, and there's no Chris Evans, and it's not really Snowpiercer. Instead, it's a game about a really big generator in the middle of nowhere that everybody's going to as the last hope of survival. So, all in all, FrostPunk is a much sadder game where you play as the ruler of what could be the very last city in this very cold -20°C winter that isn't at all an average winter. Now, I myself am actually Canadian, so I have a bit of experience when it comes to dealing with the cold, and I think I can successfully run this settlement throughout the winter until the summer. So, logically, after the world falls into this giant winter that we don't know when it's going to end, everyone decides to head up north, because it can't really be that much colder up north, can it? So, like any reasonable people, when it gets cold and snowy, they move straight up north as far as they can until they find a crater with a really big smokestack in it to live next to, because there's nothing healthier than a big old coal stack. Unfortunately, alternative ways of power don't exist anymore because it's been such a long time, and so we can't harness the wind or solar to keep us warm. Instead, we have to rely on coal. But coal isn't really easy to find, and it's not something you can just buy in the store, so people have to become coal miners again, unfortunately. Now, much like Canada, we don't have a very high population, so we don't have enough workers to get all the jobs done. Luckily though, there are these things called children, which are just small humans, and really, just because they're younger doesn't mean they can't do the same job as an adult. We shouldn't discriminate against people just because of age. At the end of the day, this is actually a pretty good thing for them though, because this is the kind of work that puts hair on your chest, and it also helps develop character and make you into a better person, so these kids should really be thanking me. Now, although I've done everything right in this game, such as passing a law to perform surgery on the gravely ill to get them back out there and working, it could also result in them being an amputee, but that's a risk you have to take if you want to continue working towards a better tomorrow. I also passed this other law, which is very common in the north, which is giving everyone a proper northern burial, which is simply just burying them under the surface of the snow so we can't see them, because out of sight means out of mind. Now, whereas with a traditional grave system, you just bury them underground and you never get to see your loved ones or enemies again after they die, this way, after they're being put in the snow, they get frozen and their bodies are there pretty much forever. So if you ever miss what somebody's face looks like, all you have to do is find their snow clump, unbury it, and there they are for you to look at. And it's like they're almost alive, except they're kind of gray and they have a lifeless stare in their eyes. Unfortunately, my people don't quite seem to see it that way, and the hope here has gotten critically low as they've gotten very upset with me for all kinds of nonsensical reasons. So what I've done is I've built up a scouting team to go search around the crater and see if they can find anything. Most important thing to find is actually a pet, because nothing cheers people up more than having a pet to take care of. Unfortunately, my scouts haven't been able to find any animal houses filled with puppies or kittens or anything fun like that. But we do have the next best thing. You know, a big part of the workforce nowadays is that everything is being replaced by robots, and believe it or not, this has actually been a thing going on with dogs way back since the early 90s with dogs such as Flipsy, who did little flips. This robotic dog, however, that we found doesn't do flips. Instead, it just does this nifty little jig in place every day for everyone to see and hopefully to cheer them up. Sadly, this guy's dance of joy wasn't enough to boost the hope here, and although I have the most experience and I've been doing everything for these people to get them going, I've been voted off the island, and apparently that's just the end of the game. So all in all, that's basically what FrostPunk is. So this is the end of another video, and I want to thank you for watching it this far along. And if you want to be really cool, you could leave this a like, or you could share, subscribe, do whatever. You could also dislike it if you didn't like it, but at the end of the day, I'm not your boss. I would really appreciate a comment or a like, but you don't have to do it. Like I said, I'm not your boss, and you can have yourself a nice day.